What's going on, Geminites? It's your boy Gem Mint.
And it's your girl Phie.
We're here with the Stranger Things Season 2 recap, so stay tuned. Alright guys, welcome back. So first of all, we will be talking spoilers in this recap. We just got done watching Stranger Things Season 2. And if you watched our Season 1 video, which I absolutely loved, dang, I was kind of let down a little bit by the season, man.
I was like, we were watching it, and I was like, because the first season I was like, wait, why didn't I like this? And then when we started watching the second season, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. This season just lost me.
So that's why I'm glad we did the first season recap by itself, because Season 2 would have left a bad taste in my mouth. Now, it ended really well, and we'll talk about that as we talk about kind of our recap. But first things, let's jump into the cast of characters. We have our returning cast, which is the crew, right? You have Mike, Will, Dustin, and Lucas, our four boys. We do have 11, or L, who we'll talk about a little bit in a second. We have Chief Hopper, we have Joyce, we have Nancy, we have Steve Harrington, Steve the Hair Harrington. We have Jonathan. Paul Reiser, he returns. He's like the head of that the science lab, or whatever, the laboratory, which is the cause of all these problems. Uh-huh. So those are our returning characters. We have some new characters now too. We have Sadie Sink, who plays Maxine, aka Max,
aka
Mad Max. We have her brother, the coolest motherfucker in all of Hawkins. Billy is played by, how do you say his name? Dacre Montgomery. This guy reminds me of, he's like the cool guy of the 80s. Leather jacket, no shirt on, kind of ugly long hair. Guy.
It was like it looked like you've been sleeping on it for like.
Very ratty, greasy hair, a guy liner. He looked like every lead singer of like every 80s band. And he was cool as fuck.
When he was interacting with the Mrs. Wheeler.
Oh man. So let's talk about that later on, because he kind of develops a little.
That just happened for us though. We just watched it, so. We
get Sean Austin, who we know as Rudy, how we know as Sam Frodo. He plays Bob, the Radio Shack smart tech guy.
What a great guy.
He was a good guy. I was worried. I was like, are they going to make him bad? Because he was good as hell.
He was a great guy.
We have Leanna Berthelsen, who plays 8, who, her story is probably one of the things that everybody hated about this season. Not so much her. She was cool. But that little side story. We got Brett Gelman, who plays the private investigator who is looking into Barb's death from Season 1. He's pretty cool. We talked a little bit about Bob. Maxine, or Max, is the new girl in school. Her and her brother Billy, who we find out is their step-siblings. They moved here from California, where everything is tubular, dude, or what they say?
I don't know.
Which is what Lucas and them would make fun of him. But they find out who she is because Dustin holds the record in Dig Dug in the arcade, and then they see his record get shattered by someone named Mad Max. And they find out it's this girl, this redhead, rambunctious, sarcastic girl, and Dustin and Lucas both have a crush on her. Her brother, like I mentioned, is like the cool guy, but we find out he's a real piece of shit to Maxine, and we find out that it's because his dad's a real piece of shit to him.
He is a real winner.
I feel like there's been other 80s movies where it's like the punk rock teen and like the hard-ass military type of dad.
He wasn't even like a military type of dad, though. He was just like a real beater. Like, he just beats on people.
But I had the vibe that he was military by the things he was saying to him, like, obey me, yes sir, that's an order type of thing, you know? Maxine, it's weird because at first she feels like she doesn't care about these guys. They're stalkers, they're losers, but it's like all of a sudden she really wants to join their party. Mike is a complete dick to her. Dustin wants her in the group. He's kind of trying to tell her things she shouldn't know about. Lucas ends up telling her everything. And even towards the very last episode, so, they put Elle on a pedestal, and Elle comes back, and Elle doesn't shake her hand. She does her dirty because she feels like she's got a crush on Mike. So even at the end, they shitted on Maxine this whole season.
The whole season.
She never got any redemption. So we'll talk, and that's kind of one of the things I didn't like about this season. We'll talk a little bit more as we go forward, but we'll talk about 8. So the season starts off showing this girl kind of like doing like this heist, and they're in the car driving away, and they're getting chased by the cops, and she looks at the bridge and says "fall," and like the bridge falls and it stops all the cops. Well, we later find out that she just did that in his mind. That's her power.
Make people see shit.
To make people see things, right? She makes spiders go up someone's arm. She has a little click, and the one guy with the big mohawk was like every villain in the beat 'em up, like Final Fight games or whatever. So they show that, and then that's it. And then all of a sudden, in like episode 7, there's this like, what do you call it? Like a filler episode where Elle goes to find her mother, and then she goes and finds her sister because they grew up together in the Rainbow Room, and then like she, next episode she's back, and it was like a filler.
It was like, I'm like, what are we doing right now? Like, what is happening? And then Elle gets back, and we're just not even going to talk about Chicago. Like, that just is not coming up in topic of conversation.
So, and then we don't really need to talk so much about the private investigator. We'll get there when we get there. But I just kind of wanted to touch on like what the new characters brought to the season. We come back, and Will is Zombie Boy. Everyone in the school is like, this kid came back from the dead. They don't really know the specifics.
I mean, there was a body. Like, they buried someone. They had a funeral.
Right, so he's Zombie Boy, and he's having a kind of a hard time adjusting back into society. He's getting these flashback type episodes where he's in the Upside Down. He's seeing this big spider smoke type shadow monster in the sky with like red lightning.
That was crazy.
And he even goes into the bathroom after having dinner. It's been a year later. It's been like a year and a month because season 1 ends. It ended on Christmas '83, and now it's 1984 Halloween. So anyway, he goes to the bathroom. He coughs up like a little slug, and he doesn't tell anybody. So that's something I didn't like either. Like, wouldn't you be like, "Yo, this just went down. I just came from the Upside Down."
I mean, no, friends don't lie, right? Like,
friends don't lie. He's keeping secrets. He coughs up this slug. Later on, the slug is in Dustin's garbage, knocking around. He picks it up. It's looking like a little tadpole. Mm-hmm. Doesn't look like it's from this earth, but Dustin keeps it and doesn't tell anybody about it either.
Feeds it chocolate.
He starts feeding it chocolate. It's getting bigger. Like, you would think after all they went through, he would be like, "Hey guys, listen, I found this thing. Thank God you found it," instead of it just being running amok. But he doesn't tell anybody, and Dustin is written very selfish in this season. I really didn't like it. He wasn't part of the pack. The girl, everything was about Maxine or his slug or the way he is with his mother. I just felt like he was written like kind of a piece of shit, to be honest.
Yeah, he was full of himself.
He was full of himself. I didn't like his growth from season 1. He kept a Demogorgon, but now it's like a demo dog. It's like on all fours. And all of a sudden, there's like 100 Demodogs, right?
Yeah, like there were like 2 Demogorgon like humanoids, but now there's like a whole bunch of dogs.
And then Will gets, in these episodes, which we find out is like happening real time on the Upside Down, and that big smoke monster kind of invokes him, and he has it in him in this world. So another thing I didn't like about the season was like, damn, Will's the victim again? Can you stay out of trouble? Like, damn, guy. So I didn't like he was the victim again. They did the hive mind trope, which we know Manimal hates. But basically, the smoke monster is somehow creating an underground tunnel under like the radius of the laboratory, which is killing everything above it. All the pumpkin patches are killed.
But how much? When you find out how much tunneling there is under the town, why are only the pumpkins getting messed up? Like, why is there not just mass rot everywhere?
They didn't really explore that. They just kind of stuck with the pumpkins, right? So anyway, he's kind of like terraforming to become the Upside Down underground here. Then we have Hopper. Hopper, okay, let's talk about 11. 11 at the end of season 1 looks like she disintegrates with the Demogorgon in order to defeat him, which I don't know why she does that, because she has no problem later on in this episode. Maybe she got stronger. Anyway.
Well, I guess they were supposed to like show that she got stronger by meeting her sister.
That's true. Like, that was the point of that, and learning how to channel her anger to be stronger. I could get behind that.
All right, fine, whatever.
So anyway, she disintegrates, and immediately she's in the Upside Down, and immediately finds a small gateway that leads into the middle school. And I thought that was a little, how convenient is that? That's the Cardi B. So like, that was convenient. Like, anyway, so she gets through, she's back, but Hopper takes her in. They living up in his like grandfather's cabin, and he's trying to keep her under the radar and keep her safe. So they have a really weird father-daughter relationship.
I'm like, this is like super inappropriate.
Are you married or are you father-daughter? Wasn't really feeling it. And Elle is pretty much gone from that episode all the way until like the reconciling with her mother and sister episode. The whole time she's pretty much gone the whole season. She really just comes back for that, and she kills it in the season finale. The season finale was dope. The season finale had action, tied up loose ends, had good character interaction together. Phie cried, and they really helped wrap it up with the season finale. But overall, there was a lot of things I didn't like about the season, like I mentioned, you know?
Yeah. I mean, people were saying that the third season undoubtedly is good.
A lot of people in our Facebook group, Geminites, have kind of agreed. Because, you know, we put out little things here and there like, damn, season 2's a letdown. And a lot of people are like, yo, season 1's the best, then season 3, then season 2. So I'm excited to get into season 3 to see it pick up and go back to its roots. I think the first one had a lot more mystery surrounding, like, the Demogorgon snatching people up. This one, like, everybody already knows the deal.
Wait a second. When they went to Chicago, was it all, like, modern? And then they go back in time again?
Nah, Chicago was definitely the 80s too, man.
Was it?
They had like all the cars were
Okay,
80s,
okay.
the style was like
I'm sitting
80s
here like,
rocker.
it felt like so out of like the element of the whole show. I'm like, it's just
yeah.
throwing me off.
Because
so
the show
bad.
feels like small city,
Small town.
80s style houses, almost like M. Night Shyamalan Signs type environment. Then Elle's in this big city, and it feels a little jarring. Yeah, it's a little off. So yeah, I feel you on that too.
Yeah, it was very like.
But you're right. That episode, her sister 8 does teach her how to channel her powers, Magneto style, moving the whole train toward her by channeling her anger, and that does help her in the season finale where she's tasked to close the gateway, which by the way is fucking huge now.
It has grown.
The elevator's not there anymore. It's a little shaft. It's a huge gateway.
Gaping hole.
So
it's a huge gaping hole.
Will is possessed, but he's able to speak to us through Morse code, and he kind of he tells us you got to close the gate. Bottom line. What's cool is like when they try to like burn the tunnels that have these vines from the upside down, it hurts the shadow monster, who is like the collective consciousness of everything from the upside down on Earth, and it hurts Will. And he's freaking out, like, possessed style. You know, Will lets it out early on that he likes it cold, meaning the shadow monster inside him. So then they turn up the heat on his ass and drive him out and burn the tunnel, and all is well. As Elle is straight Magneto style again, closing this huge gateway, lifting off.
Hovering and, like...
Just looking like this. with the every time with the one nostril with the blood.
But they did get her with the two on this one because she threw up both arms.
When she threw up both arms and both nostrils bled.
And they were just like, you remember Dumb and Dumber when they're on the fucking motorcycle and it's just...
We're there.
That's when she went hardcore and she closed the gate and didn't die and saved the day. And we had a nice season finale. Basically, she gets a birth certificate. She gets adopted by Hopper. They go to the snowball dance a year late. Phie's gonna cry.
I can't.
Everyone gets their girl.
Kids are the worst. They're so mean.
Lucas gets Max. Mike gets Elle. Will is still recovering. He ain't doing shit. Dustin been hanging out. There was a big
he was hanging out with the hair.
Steve the Hair Harrington. And he did his hair. He had the Jerry curl going and everything.
Oh, man.
He wasn't getting no play. And Nancy kind of danced with him as the high school girl dancing with the middle school girl. So now all the girls are on his jock.
Middle school boy.
All the middle school girls were now on his jock. So it had like a happy ending. But it's crazy. So it pans out of the middle school. It goes to the upside down. And the big shadow monster is like looming over the school. Like, what the hell?
He's like, yeah, you closed one portal.
Don't you know they can just appear?
They're like
to conveniently help the story
like
move.
an Alice in Wonderland style in the
in season 1 it was in the tree. How did that even get there? How did the portal get there?
And then there's one in the school just like underneath the fucking fire extinguisher.
I feel like Elle's gonna be able to open and close portals at will. Cause she kind of...
What is she? Doctor Strange?
She's Blink from X-Men.
Oh.
I like short hair Elle, man. I wasn't feeling the
I know.
She's in the ugly stage.
Ugh.
She has
you
the
want to
back
talk
of
about
the
the ugly stage?
But I liked Elle from season 1. You said she got more cocky.
She did.
She's
First
got
of all,
more
why
vocab.
is she still talking like a caveman? Like, no fight.
No.
Like,
she got better. She got better.
I can't.
So they met her mother. We find out why her mother's a vegetable, which is kind of fucked up too, man. Like, the guy, what's his name, Dr. Bruman or whatever?
Brennan?
Dr. Brennan straight electroshocks her to convince her that she had a miscarriage, and that was messed up, man. She goes to the black a couple times, and you know that's reoccurring.
I was surprised that she wasn't able to get any words out in there. I thought for sure she'd be like, "Oh, hi, honey." Like,
I thought they were gonna make her mother be able to talk in that.
Me too,
black.
but she was still just, you know, like you said, she was winter soldiering.
She was foxtrot. No, what was she saying? Rainbow Room.
No, she was saying rainbow, sunflower.
450.
450.
Which is like the series of events that led to her electroshock damaging, man. So that was pretty sad. So I'm excited for season 3. I don't know what the villain's going to be. I mean, it's still the upside down demons, but it's kind of like, was the shadow monster like the head guy? Is he still the head guy? He's still there at the season finale. Well, I guess, you know, we're gonna watch it now. He was definitely looming, very luminous,
very ominous.
Ominous and luminous. You have anything you wanted to add on this? Oh, okay. So, first of all, Billy, which is a very 80s punk rocker name.
Billy!
He reminds me of like someone out of Double Dragon. So, he's an asshole. I mean, the girls love him. He's trying to be the alpha male at school. He's always trying to take shots at Steve the Hare Harrington. And Steve is kind of like, he's grown. He doesn't care. He's not about that.
One of my favorite characters.
He's in love with Nancy, but they kind of break up, and he's letting her be with Jonathan because he knows it makes her happy. And what's funny is towards the end when Billy gets punked out by his dad in front of his stepmom and gets beat the hell up
because the girl wasn't home when they got home
because he was supposed to watch her for like a whole damn week, which he was on top of it for the most part. But anyway, when he goes looking for her, he gets to Mike's house, right?
Yeah.
And his dad is always like the lamest dad, like always asleep.
Well, he's much older than the mom.
Yeah, he's like this older guy. And the mom picks up, well, she was in a bathtub with candles, music, and reading a novel. He's banging on the door looking for Maxine. She opens it, and he puts the back down.
He lays it on so thick.
So thick.
So thick.
I would pay to see that happen.
I'm sure it happens. So I guarantee you, there's a Orno pay of that.
Orno pay. I don't know that it's really worth talking about, but like Barb's parents are in super denial that she's dead. They think because Will came back that their daughter's still out there. They're selling their house to pay for this private investigator who's like...
And it's weighing on Nancy.
And he's straight Charlie Day looking for Pepe Silvio style.
Pepe Silvia, look in the mail. Well, this whole box is Pepe Silvia!
Trying to connect the dots on what happened.
There's no Pepe Silvia!
But Nancy and Jonathan, for whatever reason, hunt him down because they're trying to come clean. And that was her beef with Steve, that he didn't want to come clean about what happened to Barb. And that's kind of what broke them apart and got her close to Jonathan, who was like, yo, I'm down to do whatever the fuck you want.
He's like, look, want to come clean? Let's come clean.
Let's come clean? You want to come clean? I'll come clean.
I'm ready to come clean right now.
So whatever. I mean, you know what? Talking about the season, I'm finding that I kind of liked it a little bit more than I initially thought.
You're so...
Sometimes you got to talk it
out. The part that's like just really threw me off was the whole 8 thing. Like, you couldn't find a better way to have Elle learn her powers. She was in that cabin, like you couldn't do a sequence of things that she was like doing in the cabin.
Why did 8 have to be in Chicago with a whole other clique? Why couldn't that have been going down in the same town? Maybe because it's a small town, it would have been too much.
Season 3 better just reveal it.
So this is the things really quick why I felt let down. I didn't like how they wrote Dustin. I didn't like that Will was the victim again. I didn't like the relationship between Hopper and Elle, and I didn't like the Elle finding her sister's storyline. That's why I didn't.
And then there were so many chances where Elle was literally like a breath away from Mike.
That's
and didn't
one.
Even...
So she comes back before.
Oh, she sees him with Maxine.
He's not even touching her or nothing. He's actually.
That doesn't mean anything, Steve.
She's riding around him on a skateboard. He's being dismissive. Even the things that she's hearing him say are like, "Yo, what? I don't care. Like, whatever." And then she actually very cruelly uses her powers to knock her off the skateboard. And then she dips, and she could have seen Mike, who's been trying to call her every single day. And she told him
she heard him every single day.
That was kind of fucked up too. She should have just came in there, and it would have been the reunion that we saw in the season finale. But I thought that was kind of whack too. I don't know why she was all in her feelings. Like he wasn't even like he was making out with her.
She had been locked up in a cabin for X number of days. Like she was like upset.
She was in her feelings.
She was.
Anyway, I guess that'll be about enough. So let us know what you guys thought about season 2 in the comments below. Is it the weaker of the season? I think so.
It sounds like it's going to be the weakest of the season.
Weakest. But I'm excited for season 3. We'll probably try to start getting on that now.
Honestly, we're gonna finish it this weekend. We're gonna finish it tomorrow.
Yeah, so I guess these are all gonna come out like back to back. Make sure to hit that like on the way out. Make sure to be subscribed to this channel for more daily content. It's mostly comic book related stuff, but every now and then we do some TV show stuff like our Game of Thrones videos.
Or this, what you're watching.
The Game of Thrones stuff, this, and we'll probably continue. We're probably gonna do Watchmen on HBO and stuff. So
The Boys.
We're gonna do
Prime.
The Boys on Amazon Prime for show.
Me and Manimal gotta do the review
on the books, yeah, for sure. So thanks for watching. You guys stay minty fresh. Peace.